Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to the Force Unleashed. So, last time the game went bad, real bad, and when I hit Alt-Tab, it let it go back to the menu, and so I could save. Now, hopefully when I hit continue, we'll see the end of that DLC, Hoth. Maybe we won't, though. We'll see how far into the level we really are, because one thing or another we'll find out, I suppose. Find the main hangar is apparently our goal. So there's no telling what happened, what was supposed to happen, but so it resets me back to this point. Alright. That's not too bad. And so everything's happening again. And then health drain aura. We'll pull this upward. And then we'll pull this upward. And see, this is cutting directly into our time for the next bit of DLC. But I'd rather actually see this succeed. Alright. That's one. Nope, didn't actually work. Come on. Just slowly work your magic. Make sure it flies in the right direction. And then I managed to turn that whole thing upside down. And being upside down, it decided it's not going to fly anymore. Interesting. That's strange because I actually managed to find a bug in Lego. Well, managed. It's real easy to find bugs in Lego Star Wars 3, the Clone Wars, because the PC ports of the Lego games are very bad. And so we're back to this fight, and hopefully this works this time. See, I'm not even hitting him with the lightning there. And win this. Punch him down. And see, what's weird is he says here that he defeats us. And see, that is a much better QuickTime event system, by the way, than what you do in the main game where it's spinning in circles. So he says he killed Darth Vader. If that's true, we're in an alternate universe where maybe maybe Luke Skywalker will get killed here too. But, you know, that's exactly the same thing that... And see, that's what was supposed to happen. Can I level up again? This is... Darth Vader particularly said that he killed his father. Or somebody told him. I think Obi-Wan Kenobi actually told him that Darth Vader killed his father. And basically lied to him. And I don't know if it was in some effort to spare his feelings or not turn him to the dark side or something. But Luke here is now called Fallen Luke, which that's so World of Warcraft. It's like, oh yeah, he's got his ultimate form now. Although it's kind of more like Dragon Ball Z. It's like Super Saiyan Luke here. But then I guess that's kind of what this whole idea of this game is it is supposed to be the extreme version of the Jedi. If you could remake the entire series today, what abilities would you give them? What new cool effects would you add? Because computers would actually be able to give those effects. And see, he's not as affected, it seems, by the lightning strikes. So, like, and see, he's doing moves that definitely he never did in the movies. Moves that hadn't even been thought of. And it's alright, but not great that you end up just fighting him twice. I still kind of would heavily guess that I'm gonna lose. Not actually lose the battle, but in winning, still lose the war. I'm out of juice, it seems. And see, Luke did not have Force Lightning at all. Like, that's particularly at this time. And more quick time events. Wait for the button prompts. Pay no attention to the cutscene because you've got to look for the button prompts. I hate QuickTime events for that reason more than anything else. Is they make these cutscenes, they look really cool, and then I don't get to watch them because I'm too busy playing the game. And so, does he turn him into Sith?
Very good.
That's even better than killing him. See, that's a cool twist on the story. That is a really cool twist on the story. Go a totally different way with it. And here we get the credits now, and it's a shame these credits and all of this didn't happen in the last recording. So I want to see if I can skip these. Credits where credit is due, but sorry, no. I've got better things to do, and frankly, that's so kind of unsurprising that the DLC is nothing but one level and a short level at that. So I assume that's exactly the same case for these next two also. So yeah, DLC gives you a bunch of costumes. Maybe it gave you some force points that you didn't deserve and didn't probably need, because if it did give you any extra points for buying the DLC, that also means the game's unbalanced, which honestly I think the game is unbalanced.
I can already sense them, but this is the only place that I can find out more about my father.
So here, this is another. You've been awarded force points. Spend them to upgrade your powers or purchase combos and talents. So yeah, it does immediately give me points. This is cool. I'm actually getting off the ship and just landing. There's a trailer for a new game that I'm not sure if it's actually going to come out or not, but because all the Star Wars games got put on hold when Disney got in charge of them, that shows a girl taken to a temple like this to become a Jedi. And it looked exactly like this, so this is probably very canonically accurate. And then the question, I guess, is, were these Jedi temples here before or after? They were here for a long time, I guess. Episode 3 and before. Okay, this is strange. This doesn't look like the point I was at before, and I start with 3 points and increase your maximum force energy. That totally was at maximum. So they start you at this default level for no real reason. And I unlock aerial strike, and that was the only thing that there was even to purchase. So I would need to go up 9 more levels, and that's not likely to happen. Or 2 more levels to get some of these other things, and I'd have to pick very, very specifically. Lightsaber. Let's see what this DLC lets us have. I'm gonna just leave it with the red if I can actually pick that, because frankly the game should have been like that the whole time. And then the one that uses less, this one is the best one, I think. And then costumes, there's really no new costumes. So the DLC gives you 3 short levels, a bunch of costumes, some extra points that maybe you get to use on the DLC sections, but you don't get to use, it seems, on the other sections. This is the Temple Explorer gear, and we played last time as... Who did we play as? Not the Sith robe, and not the Sith Stalker armor, although that looked close. Alright, let's... A bunch of these characters are going crazy here. Let's knock all these guys off the edge. Shielded things. So this is all the Empire. And they want to knock me off the edge, I think. So why is the Empire guarding a Sith temple? Is this on a major, like, important trade route area? Look at all the ships in the background. Maybe they made it easier to level up. There's quite a few people on this platform. This seems like an experiment to see how many people you could actually have. And if they weren't stun locking you when they hit you, you could actually have quite a few people and ships and a lovely little vista. There's a lot you could do. Of course, all the ships in the background are kind of just video. They don't have to have any AI, unlike the characters. And the number of characters isn't that high. And we're using the Force again to open the doorway and get in. And another cutscene, in-game cutscene.
The holocron is on the other side of the entry hall. If the path is blocked, you'll need to find a way to clear it.
And so I'm actually, for the mission, trying to get a holocron. And there are 10 holocrons in this level, and it wants us to do 600,000 damage, which tells me this level is going to be a little bit longer. all these statues, and all this, and this is the stuff I really wish they would cover in a movie or something. Like something that would explain how this religion started, what this religion's about, why are these statues everywhere. Let's see. I can't dodge under that, so I guess I am gonna have to kill everybody first. And I can break her face, which, what does that mean? What does that do? Why was that an option? Like, that doesn't look like a platform. And even if it was a platform, it doesn't look like there's a platform that platform goes to. Just seems like something they were experimenting with. And boy, does it not feel like my lightning force attacks are doing much damage. Let's see, I can go either way, it seems. And this just seems like a round area. And there's all these things, and boy is this cool to look at. Maybe I'll find some more holocrons, and then that would... It's also fun to destroy. Let's be honest. Like, what is that? Planet. Looks like I can move this entire floating with each one of these out of the way and just like destabilize the hovering. This is a great area where it would be really fun to walk around instead of having to deal with things. Like, this should be a downtime section. Like, you could have easily put this in the main part of the game and had nothing in here and just had Juno and Starkiller have some conversations as they both walked through this, and then that would make all the sense in the world because would be learning about his father, and so in learning about his father he might want some emotional support, and then the relationship that was pretty forced between Juno and Starkiller would be more realistic. There's too many items around here that can get hit by lightning, unfortunately. The targeting is not good on this. It should just target humans. Particularly since it's the Force. You would think the Force flows through all life forms would imply that non-animate life forms would not be targeted by Force lightning, and I assume Force. I don't know how the Force works. Nobody knows how the Force works. Apparently, it seems. That's kind of part of the reason, I guess, why Star Wars is still talked about these days to this day is there's some just ambiguities in it, ambiguities, to use the word correctly, or try to pronounce it correctly, where people can just argue back and forth about elements. And I think that while that may not have been intentional, it certainly plays a major part on why Star Wars is still talked about, when so many other sci-fi shows and movies that came out during similar times aren't talked about. That actually might be a great way to make a trilogy. And maybe video game creators need to look to that and say, we're going to make some stuff not make sense and not be explained. Or we're going to use it just however the story needs. We're going to use plot armor effectively for some elements. And if can I jump outside of this? No, so I can break the glass. A modern game would break into a lot more different pieces of glass. That's something that you probably wouldn't bother to even notice, but it is the case. Jeez, how many have we collected? 5 already. And it seems like there's nothing else over here. I think I have to go all the way back to the other way. But yeah, if this happened during the main story and Juno and Starkiller just walked through all this and they were just amazed by all of it and they were awestruck, that would be cool. And then I would say what you would want to have happen is either Juno gets kidnapped halfway through of it so they can build on that relationship, and then Starkiller has to rescue her again, or you could just have enemies show up and attack them, and he would protect her from the rest of it as they're escaping. There's different ways you could then introduce the enemies and have some falling action walking through an area like this the first time, and then on the way back the Empire starts attacking. That
You've entered a Padawan training chamber. Be careful. The training droids might still be operational.
okay, let's do this. So Padawans, I think, are the... They look like Proxy, pretty much. I think are the children Jedi. They're kind of tough. Combat training droids. Did I just turn on the fence? Or did somebody else do that? This is a lot of them. Yeah, when I hit that, it does seem like it powers up the fences, which then, if I could coordinate shooting that and destroying and blasting them. Let's see. Trying to break this statues, and then I think that's gonna stop the robots from spawning. He's doing a lot of grunting. A lot of grunting. And it's weird that this is the second piece of DLC on the list. Because this, well, this clearly should have been in the game. I could understand Hoth maybe not being in the game because it's actually after the main part of the story if you take the bad ending, which I guess we should suspect is canon, and is what will happen in The Force Unleashed 2. And see, that's, I guess, one of the things is, can The Force Unleashed 2 fix the problems of The Force Unleashed 1? And one also needs to ask, if you buy The Force Unleashed 1 on Steam, do you get The Force Unleashed 2 as a bundle? Is that the only way it's available for sale? Probably not, but you probably need to look at that pricing. I don't think you're going to be fully satisfied with just the first game. And see, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing here. It seems... Am I supposed to break these controllers, or... Seems like I'm getting hit a lot. Nothing there. Okay. So I finished that. Alright. Let's see. Force upgrades. As we're looking here. 8 for lightning shield. And then Force Affinity, Vitality, and still need a lot of those. And then combos, just pointlessly. Well, all of these are actually still unlockable. Interesting. I guess I'm supposed to do that. Seriously, I'm supposed to go all the way back? See, we're now in this weird position. Level 2 started. Darn it. Well, these are Empire torturers, by the way, though. So I assume there's no real reason to go back to the other section. How are we doing as far as holocrons? There's 3 left. And we haven't even found a bad guy. So, yeah. That's not gonna work. Hopefully that doesn't put me right at the beginning of the game. It does refill that. And we'd already been this way. But that is replaced again. Ooh, we may have a lot to do here next time. Anyways, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on basically any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.